Hey, so I want to start this video by being honest with you about where I've been. I've noticed that it's been 4 months since I've recorded a new video or a new podcast episode, and I feel like I owe you an explanation. And honestly, I think that my explanation might be exactly what you need to hear today, because what I learned in the middle of the hardest season of my life taught me more about running a coaching business than any course I've ever taken. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Launch Your Coaching Ministry podcast. I am Monique Addison-Stinson. And listen, here's the truth. Corporate may have given you a title, but God gave you a calling. If you're a Christian woman over 40 who's ready to stop tying your worth to your job and step into your God-given ministry, then this is your space. I show you how to package your corporate skills into kingdom work and get paid for it. Listen, my mom taught me something very powerful. If I don't bet on myself, who will? Now I help women just like you stop making excuses and start making moves, turning your experience into the coaching ministry God's been preparing you for this whole time. So, are you ready to launch? Let's go, sis. Now, over a year ago, my mom was misdiagnosed at a hospital, and she ended up being hospitalized for several weeks. And when she came home, she couldn't walk. She still hasn't taken a step since. Now, my mom is one of the strongest, the most determined women I have ever known in my life. And she has her own space in my home. She always has. And she's never been the type of person who just calls you random. Like, she only calls when she really needs help. And that's just who she is, strong, stubborn in the best way. And watching her go through this, it really breaks my heart every single day. But here's what I had to figure out in real time. How do I show up for my mom and still show up for the women that God called me to serve? And honestly, for a while, I couldn't do either one of those things well. I was trying to do everything. I was still posting, still planning, still trying to be on every single platform and try to record videos and podcast episodes every day and just trying to be everywhere, do all the things. And one day I sat down to record and nothing came out. Not one word. It was just completely blank. Like, I couldn't speak. I couldn't think. I just couldn't. And that's when it hit me. My business was controlling me. And I started my business, like all of us, specifically for that not to happen. We get into it for the flexibility and that didn't happen at first. So here's what I realized in that moment, sitting in silence in my office. I had built a business around flexibility, like we all do, around flexibility, around freedom, but I wasn't operating with any of it. I was running a business like I was still in corporate, like someone else owned my calendar, like I had to be everywhere all the time or it wouldn't count. But this was a season where my mom needed me. My mom really needed me. And a good business, a real business, should be able to bend to your life, not the other way around. So I prayed about it and I made some very hard decisions. I had to pull back from a lot of one-on-one coaching, right? I stopped trying to be on every single social media platform. And I got focused on where my ideal clients hang out, and that was LinkedIn, my blog, Pinterest, my podcast, and YouTube. And I know that sounds like a lot, but those platforms have longer shelf life, and I could repurpose the same content to those different platforms that works while I'm in the next room helping my mom. And I leaned into digital products. I leaned in hard into digital products. Now, I'll be honest, that was terrifying because I have always been a coach. I've always done one-on-one coaching. I've always done group coaching, in-person coaching, just coaching. And I teach coaching, right? That's how I've always served people. And the idea of digital products felt like I was giving something up. And I didn't think that it would work, quite honestly. But sis, I'll be in there helping my mom and I'll get a notification that I made a sale or several sales while I'm like being fully present with my mom. And that doesn't feel like a business strategy. That feels like God just showing off. It really feels good. And here's what all of that taught me about client boundaries, because this is where it gets good, in my opinion. Everything I had learned about protecting my capacity as a caregiver, it applies directly to how you need to show up for your clients. For example, the first thing that I learned was that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And we've always said that, right? But listen, your clients can feel it when you're running on fumes. They know it. When I was trying to do everything, caregiving and business, as if nothing had changed in my life, when everything has changed in my life, I wasn't fully present with either one. I wasn't fully present with my mom, and she deserved my best. And I wasn't fully present with my clients, and they deserved my best. And nobody was getting it. And sis, your clients can feel when you're stretched past your limit. Even when you don't say a word to them, boundaries protect the quality of what you give, period. The second thing I learned was saying yes to everything is not love. It's actually fear. My mom is strong and determined, and part of loving her well is not doing things for her that she can actually do for herself, because doing that would take something away from her. And in coaching, when you over deliver, never say no, never define your scope, you're not actually serving your client, you're enabling dependency. And you're teaching them that your time has no value. And third, a boundary isn't a wall, it's a fence with a gate. So pulling back from one-on-one coaching didn't mean I stopped caring about my clients. I still take a client here and there what my capacity allows. My newsletter community, my called and confident newsletter community, is amazing. They're checking on me, they're replying to emails, they're sending me well wishes and praying for my mom and me. And that kind of relationship doesn't happen when you have no boundaries. It happens because you have been real with the people who are in your community. You've been real about what you're going through. And the boundary created the trust, not the other way around. So here's what I need you to hear. And I want you to sit with this, okay? The women who struggle the most with client boundaries aren't boundaryless people. They're caregivers of their families, their clients, their communities, who never got permission to protect themselves first. You were taught that showing up means giving everything, but sis, showing up depleted helps nobody. Not your mom, not your clients, not the calling that God put on your life. And protecting your capacity is ministry. Protecting your capacity is ministry. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. 3 boundaries learned from caregiving that every coach needs. 1 is to know your capacity number. How many clients can you actually serve right now in this season of your life without running yourself into the ground? Not how many you wish you could take, how many can you serve with excellence. Start there. The second thing is to know your scope. Caregiving taught me fast that there are some things I cannot fix. I can show up, I can support, but some things are outside of my ability to change, and that is okay. Same in coaching. You are not a therapist. You are not a fixer. Know your lane and know where your lane ends and stay in that lane without apology. And then the third thing that I learned is that build something that works when you can't. Now, I'm not telling you that every coach should drop one-on-one coaching, but I am saying if your entire business stops the moment that your life gets complicated, then sis, that is not a business. That's a job with extra steps. Evergreen content, digital products, a newsletter list, that's yours. Those are the things that you need to build, a thing that keeps serving people even when you need to step away. If you're watching this and you're somewhere in the middle of figuring out what kind of coach you're even called to be, and before you can set boundaries, you need to know what you're building. So I want you to go take my free quiz. It's called What Type of Faith-Based Coach Are You Secretly Meant to Be? And the link is actually in the description. It's right below this video. And I also add it to the description of the podcast if you're listening. And that quiz will give you more clarity, way more clarity than you expect, because the right boundaries start with knowing who you are and who you're called to serve. And listen, I show Christian women over 40 how to package their skills into kingdom work and get paid for it. And that's what we do here. If that sounds like exactly what you've been looking for, then make sure you do not leave this channel without subscribing. Okay, you're in the right place if that is the kind of content you're looking for. Listen, I'm still in this season. My mom is still working toward taking that first step, and I'm still figuring out how to show up as a daughter and as a business owner and as someone God called to serve women like you, basically. But I'm not running on empty anymore, and I don't want you to do that either. So listen, I will see you in the next one. All right, beautiful. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, all right, I am so ready to stop talking about this and actually do something about it, then here's what I need you to do right now. Head on over to businesschurchlife.com. That's businesschurchlife, all one word.com. And that's where you'll find everything you'll need to turn that corporate experience into the coaching ministry that you've been called to build. Now, whether you're just getting started or you're ready to dive deep, I've got resources waiting for you that'll help you stop spinning your wheels and start making some real progress. And hey, if this episode hit you right in the feels, do me a favor, leave me a quick rating and a review, then share it with another woman who needs to hear this message. Those reviews help more women find us, and we're building a movement here that starts with women just like you who are brave enough to bet on themselves. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, stop making excuses and start making moves.